Cool. So welcome everyone. So welcome to the event. It's the Creative Career Mode event, and it's going to be facilitated by Megan here. So it's going to be approximately in a 1 hour event. So if you do have any questions, just feel free to ask straight away. Just to note that we're also going to be recording this online to the YouTube channel. So if you do want to catch a recording of it afterwards, just find the link in the Good Community Facebook group. Also, if you have any questions you want to ask Megan after the event, feel free to stay afterwards because she's also going to be here to chat with you guys. And that's it for me. Hope everyone enjoys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So hi, everyone. I'm Megan. I've met some of you before, but there's a lot of new faces here as well. So nice to meet you. I'm a nutrition and holistic health coach. Before that, in my previous life, I was an insurance broker for 5 years in London. So I had quite a different change of tack. As a holistic health coach, we look at health from across the board, so physical, mental, and emotional. We look for deficiencies in areas of people's lives, not just relating to physical health or nutrition. We look for anything surrounding kind of deficiencies in inspiration or career, relationships, physical exercise, and your sense of general social connection as well, which can manifest themselves as kind of physical sicknesses and things. My own personal passion is on mindset and mental and spiritual well-being. And when I was an insurance broker, suffice to say, I was leading a fairly unhealthy life, which has created thanks guys, which has created this passion for mindset. And this about creating intentional days stems from the fact that I had a lot of very unintentional days, which led to me feeling fairly uninspired and unfulfilled by life in general. So I know that a lot of you are already doing work that you love and therefore do have intentional days and do feel generally inspired and fulfilled on a day-to-day basis, but there's always room for improvement. And I hope that it will allow you to work out what you find most energizing and how you can commit that into your daily routine. Whoop. Told you I'm technologically disabled. So what we're going to look at, identifying for you what you find uniquely most inspiring and fulfilling, the resulting high priority activities for your business, finding motivation to do low priority activities, and mindset strategies to accompany your business and ways to implement this into your working day. So the secret for an inspiring and fulfilling life is doing what you love and loving what you do, and getting handsomely and beautifully paid for it. In this way, your vocation can become your vacation. So identifying your highest values. So this has actually got nothing to do with ethics or morality. Sorry, I'm standing in the way. It's got nothing to do with ethics, morality. It's totally related to your core beliefs. So have a look at the questions that are up on the screen. What makes time stand still for you in a good way? Where are you in a flow-like state or the zone? What activities do you never have to be reminded to do? What do you always have money for even when you're broke and have time for even when you're busy? What would you like to read 500 books about, love and admire most about yourself? What would you defend with your life and fight to the death for? Where are you most organized, scheduled, and committed? I know that I'm actually very kind of an innately disorganized person. However, there are areas of your life where you are extremely committed. And what trait characteristic is not for sale and could not be bought from you with all the money in the world? So as an individual, especially as an entrepreneur or business owner, you want to make sure that you spend the majority of your day and the majority of your days operating as your highest self. So that is your most highly functioning, highly organized, energized, and awesome state. It doesn't just mean getting enough sleep, going to CrossFit, eating a lot of broccoli, stuff like that. Obviously, that all helps, and I would encourage you to do that. The kind of nutrition side of me would plead for you to do that. But it actually relates to growing your awareness of what makes you tick as an individual and the practical application of this into your daily life, not just I'll do it next week or whatever. This is actually a daily thing. So what we refer to as our highest values is actually do with the core motivations, driving factors that are unique to us and provide us with energy, inspiration, and the get up and go. So with these questions here, it's something that you can do at home. I can kind of send it to you if anyone is interested. It's you're meant to kind of write down the 50 things that pop into your head, and then 100 things, 200 things, and then you can begin to cluster them into themes. So it's activities relating to being by the ocean, reading, cooking, drinking beer with friends, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But when you've got them all out on paper, you can start to put them into these kind of themes. And then when you apply that to your daily routine or your weekly routine or something, you can start to recognize deficiencies. So for example, if you recognize that you love to be by the ocean, that's one of your top values, and actually that doesn't appear anywhere in your working week, you know that you've got some kind of deficiency there. Or, you know, if you love being out in nature, or I've had a mind blank. Whatever it is, if it doesn't appear in your daily or your weekly routine, then you're going to have a deficiency somewhere. Recognizing also your delusions. So some of us think that some things are very high priority to us. And actually, when we compare it to our working week, we realize that it's really not up there. So that's why people all the time are saying things like, I really need to go to the gym, or all that stuff, when actually the gym for them just isn't in their high priorities. And owning your superpower. So this is why we had the picture of Wonder Woman up there. When you've recognized your top values, you can actually recognize your superpower. And those are the things that you really want to inject more of into your business, and where you can really start to create your unique selling point. Yeah, I know. Do you want to? No. Hey, guys. That's all right. No worries. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Okay, so in holistic health, you're always trying to gain a deeper understanding, deeper level of self-awareness, so that you can identify, as I said, deficiencies in your lifestyle and bring your mind and body into closer alignment. So some of these, this exercise is very, very highly insightful for you to really get to the root of what makes you tick as an individual. If you realize that you're neglecting a major aspect of your values within your working week, that can actually cause you to have anxiety, low energy, passive aggression. And it can actually just be as simple as putting more of your top values into your working week or into your day. So sometimes, as I said, things that we thought were important to us, not so much. And that's when we get that we should be doing this coming in. And within your values is always also embedded your mission and your purpose, and the key to, in fact, you leading the most inspired and fulfilling life by doing a lot of the things that energize you. So how do you actually apply the values factor into your working week? Because that's what you're all here to find out. So the maximum application of values gives you the maximum energy and inspiration. You're going to be vibing high as an individual. So Ricardo's law is actually from the 18th century. Every country in the world is made up of a resource or commodity that makes up its speciality niche, something that it is the greatest at, or that gives you a competitive, or that gives it a competitive advantage. Economy grows where the country exports that commodity. If you apply that to your highest values into your life, you're tapping into your own personal greatest resources and sharing those resources with the world. So when you export those, not only are you the most profitable, but actually the whole world benefits. And we all have a different set of values, the way that we see the world. But what we all share generally as humans is a top value of service. So for example, with my values, and I got really geeky when I first came across this, like it felt a little bit like kind of Pokemon, that you had to like fit it into every single day. That's just me. Sorry, I'm a massive geek. So for example, my values included learning. So every morning I listen to an audiobook, make sure that I get at least one good idea from it. Coaching, so something that I'm doing right now. Health, working out each day. My spiritual practice, which I have to put in as my morning meditation. If I skip it out, complete disaster, might as well go back to bed. And travel and adventure. So even just going to the beach, seeing the sunrise, or the sunset, going for the walk. And the aim of the game is ultimately to connect to your highest values every single day. Otherwise, you'll start to see all those energy dips. So there we go. So staying inspired. So that's identifying your high priority tasks. You're either filling your day with inspiration or you are attracting desperation. So this is where the intentional day starts coming in. When you make the intention that you're going to fill up your days with your highest values and your high value activities, you'll find that you're having a really great day. If you're not doing that, and if you just allow the day to come to you, then your day will just generally start to unravel. If you're fitting in kind of maybe like one or two of your high values, then maybe you'll have an okay day. If you're not adhering to any of them, you're going to have a pretty shit day. So what exactly is the most inspiring to you? What is your particular speciality? The work that you are most qualified to do, the work that makes the greatest contribution, and the work that provides you with the highest advantage and profitability. So fill your most productive hours with these activities and do it until it's done, therefore staying in your most inspired and greatest service. So whatever time of day you operate best at, that's where you want to be putting a lot of your high priority activities related back into your work. Okay, so Cyril Northcott Parkinson, his business law is that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. I'm sure that some of you have read the 4-Hour Working Week as well. But if you don't fill up your day with high priority tasks, your days will fill up with many frustrating low priority tasks or distractions. Lots of unexpected challenges and problems tend not to happen when we have an intense schedule based around our high priority activities, nor do we seem to attract them just because there's simply no time for them. So you want to be really injecting high priority activities and highest values into your day each day. The Pareto principle, which is also the 80-20 rule, which I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of, that is the law of the vital few, or the principle of factor sparsity. So Pareto developed this in the context of income and wealth among the population. Roughly 80% of effects come from 20% of the causes. So when you apply this into your working day, 20% of your actions, 20% of your actions are responsible for 80% of your general productivity. So the key, therefore, is to target that 20% and ensure that you're putting that into the highest productivity time. So you really want to identify which for you are your highest productivity, inspiration, and profitability. And the tip there is to pick the highest value activities in accordance with your work and do that, only that, until it's done. Okay, so completing low priority activities. This I love. There are always things in business. Sorry, that is my dad on the screen. I'm going to come on to why he's there in a second. So there are always things in our business that we have to do, that we hate doing, that piss us off. It would be so nice, even as, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever, digital nomads, if we could only do work that we love. However, we always have to do nitty-gritty stuff that we hate doing, that we put off. So the values factor, I think, is one of the most useful applications. Is how you actually apply it to your low priority activities. The way that you do this is applying it to your highest values. So I will again come on to my father in a second. A thing that works very well for me personally, I'm not a mathematical, logical person by any respect. I hate doing anything related to accounts, finances, admin, etc. So for me, even though I can see that those things are really important for my business, I can't actually make myself do them. I put it off until it becomes a real problem. However, using the values factor, you can actually start to relate it back to your core values. So my core values of learning, mental expansion, spiritual well-being. When I look at the things that I hate in my business, doing all the finances, I can work it back, kind of reverse engineer it. So okay, if I do this much admin, I'm more likely to not miss client payments, which means that I'm going to have more money for my business, which means that I can spend more money on learning and courses. Therefore, when I look at admin, I basically see the potential of what I could do with my low priority activities. And therefore, it's very much on the way to what I want to be doing rather than in the way. So the reason I've got my dad here is that I actually used the values factor to convince my father to give up smoking. So my dad he's in his 60s. He smoked for 45 years. That is him there having just cycled from London to Paris and having a fag literally at the other end. So I've spent pretty much the last 15 years trying to convince my dad to give up smoking. All of the things, you know, based around health, you know, you can cycle more, you can do all this stuff. My dad can see that. Intellectually, we know that we should be doing a lot of things. However, when I went home at Christmas, I know that one of my dad's top values is being a great dad. So when I sat down with him and for the last time tried to get him to give up smoking, I sat down and said, okay, right, I'm 29 years old. It is not totally unlikely that within the next 5 years, I might want to get married, have a family, do all this stuff. And it really pains me. And I see it like you putting your middle finger up to playing with your grandchildren or being at my wedding or any of these things. And for him, that really fed into his top value of being a dad, where he could see, okay, me giving up smoking is going to make me a better father. And he hasn't smoked since, which was phenomenal. So that was actually the values factor in like complete real time. It's something that you can also use with clients. So for me, if I have a client who wants to go to the gym, she can intellectualize it. She can see that she should be doing it, but she can't make herself do it. But I can see that her top value is also being a great mom. Instead of saying to her, oh, you should go to the gym because it's good for your health and, you know, all this stuff that's not going to help her. If I can say, you should be going, you know, you could go to the gym because if you were working out and doing cardio 3 times a week, imagine how much easier you'd find it to run around with your kids. And therefore, your low priority activities and your greatest frustrations actually on the way to your higher values rather than being in the way. So for her, you know, someone that hates going to the gym, as soon as she gets near the treadmill, she would just envisage being able to run around with her kids. So it's actually a really, really valuable application of the values factor. If that is impossible, then fuck it, delegate it out. Because all you want to be doing as a business owner or as an entrepreneur or just anyone who wants to stay energized and fulfilled and inspired by their life is staying inspired. Like that's what you want to do. What you're also doing is enabling someone else to fulfill their top values. So for me, with my lack of interest in accounts, it's much easier, and I know a lot of other people do, to delegate the task of accounting out to someone else who freaking loves accounting, because then they are also fulfilling their high priority activities. You're doing something good for the world. It's good karma, you know, all that stuff. Win-win. So another bonus and benefit of the values factor is becoming a master of communication. So becoming more conscious of your own values, you will begin to consider the values of others. Like I said, like I got quite geeky about this. So I now can start to identify people's top values when I'm having like the preliminary conversation with them. But we all have our values. They create the way that we see the world, our perception of the world. We are all seeing one another, seeing our activities through our own values. And when we have relationship breakdowns, communication breakdowns, it's often because we have a delusion that other people should be fitting in with our values. You know, that everyone is operating on their own value system. And it's our expectation that they should be adhering to ours at all times rather than adhering to their own. So that is why we have all the breakdowns. And instead, this is an opportunity for you to grow your skills in advanced communication principles. So understanding what your client is committed to is a really, really useful tool in terms of closing business deals, sales. So when closing, a lot of people try to get a yes. You know, that's what you want. That's how you get paid. Actually, if you aim instead for a that's right, it's actually far better. So until you've got a that's right, you haven't dug deep enough. So to go back to the example of a client whose top value is being a good mum, if I'm having a conversation with her and trying to encourage her to sign up for one of my programs, and she's kind of sitting on the fence, it's as I was saying before, it's not particularly helpful to be like, this will be so good for your health, this will be so good for your nutrition, all that, and just kind of see it and just trying to get a yes. But what you can do is try and look for their core values. So if I was to say, I was to listen to her talking about, you know, her kids, then I could say, I can see that your kids are really important to you. And I'm really excited about sharing this program with you because by me taking you through X, Y, and Z, I'm going to be able to teach you how to cook better recipes for your kids and exercises that you can do all together as a family. I can see that your kids are really important to you. Is that right? And she'd be like, yes. So, not yes, sorry, we're not looking for yeses. We're looking for that's right. So until you've got a that's right, you haven't dug deep enough. And because humans just want to be felt. That sounded really bad and came out of my mouth. Humans just want to be like emotionally and mentally felt at the end of the day. Like when we're talking to people, we just want to be understood. So if someone is trying to come to you for your services, they want to hand their money over to somebody who actually gets them. And when you can get them through identifying with their values, with their value system, they're going to want to take your business over anyone else's. Does that make sense? Like, has anyone got any questions so far? No? Okay. Yeah.
What are the examples for like the high value that you experienced in your past?
My highest values.
Like yours or some of your clients, you mentioned family, which obviously is like a really high value.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back. So generally, your values fit into any of these. They can be across. That's okay. It's generally to do, I mean, there are so many, but a lot of like learning, general expansion, like researching, studying, creating, career contribution, health, fitness. What else have we got? Done family relationships. There are like 7 general categories. Does that help a little bit more? Yes, you came in late. No worries. Okay. We've done that bit. Okay. Releasing stress from your workday. This is something that we all need help with for sure. Even though we are doing things that we find inspiring and fulfilling, of course, we all get stressed. So becoming a mindset master through the values system. So number 1, choosing your pains or they will choose you. There was actually a TED talk with Tim Ferriss about choosing your fears, and this is similar. So what comes hand in hand with your highest values, and what are you prepared to live with as a result? So to give you an example, with my highest values of travel and adventure, it means that I live a kind of, as a lot of us do, quite a nomadic life, which means that we choose our pains of instability, not knowing where we're going to be in a couple of months, which for most of us, most of the time is extremely exciting, except of course, when your insecurities start to come out and then you're like, oh my God, and this is happening and I'm in, all that. So choosing your pains and actually owning your pains makes everything so much easier. So, on a daily basis, if one of your top values is health, you're choosing the pain of going to the gym every single day. You're choosing the pain of running along the beach, because not all of us really want to do all of that, but you're choosing that pain on a daily basis. And that goes right up to, living abroad, being away from your family, owning all of those pains. And as soon as you own it, you're actually living a lot more intentionally, rather than allowing all of those pains to choose you. Number 2, realize and accept that your insecurities are unfortunately never going to go away. So a lot of people come to a health coach or someone, you know, who does a lot of mindset work saying, I just want to never feel anxiety, or I just want to never feel stress, or I just want all of these things to go away. Unfortunately, that's never going to happen, which when I first got told that, I was just like, what? Like, what's the point then? Essentially, like humans, when we are expanding, we're at our, like, not physically, when we are expanding mentally and emotionally as people, we are operating in our most energized state. So as you create big goals for yourself, you're going to be performing big actions. Bigger actions leads to bigger challenges. And if you want to become a champion, you have to become something greater. And to do this, you have to become a bigger character to get the bigger awards. And then it leads to even bigger goals, even bigger challenges. And the cycle, unfortunately, continues. And your insecurities are there to not only push you to try and create more for yourself, also there to humble you sometimes. You know, if you've had a few days feeling amazing in everything that you've created, something will generally happen to push you back a little bit. So just so you know, that's never going to go away. So as soon as you realize that, you can just own that one as well. Something that I learned to do recently is saying to yourself, you know, when the insecurity comes up or the stress comes up or the anxiety, bring on the fear. I love the fear. Or, you know, if you've got a day where you're feeling pretty pissed off or flat or whatever, and you can't really explain why, you can just say to yourself, okay, today I'm pissed off and I fucking love it. That's actually a really powerful tool for me that I've started doing. When you wake up and you're like, you could just like kind of like mope around your day and just like feel shit. But when you actually take ownership of the way that you're feeling, even if you can't explain why you're feeling it, then it just means that you're owning your power and living from that place of inspiration, energy, and fulfillment. And focusing on victories. So at any given point, we're making a meaning out of what is in front of us. Your beliefs become real, and they act as a filter from the way that you see the world. So it's up to you personally to create beliefs for yourself that are empowering, expanding, and congruent with your vision. I am going to go on a little bit more about how you do this, but really just get into the practice of observing the way that you speak to yourself. So only speak or think about your obstacles and challenges as being on the way rather than being in the way, and continuously celebrating your victories to become that master of your beliefs. So, which comes to the kind of grand application of how you can put all of this into your day. So, establishing an inspiring morning routine. This was a book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. That book fundamentally changed my life. So I used to be someone that snoozed the snooze button for literally 45 minutes. One of my ex-boyfriends actually blames the snooze button for the breakdown of our relationship. I was obviously not creating an inspiring morning for him. But the snooze button, you'll never press it again if you listen to one of these books. Hal Elrod was a very successful business owner. He lost his entire fortune and saw his business break down. And he fell into depression, like really bad, couldn't get out of bed until he eventually realized he had to create something to make him get out of bed. So he created his miracle morning. This consists of what he calls savers. It can take anything between 6 minutes and 90 minutes. I know that not all of us have 90 minutes in the morning. I know that a lot of us here as well do things like miracle mornings because, you know, it's a lot of it's the kind of entrepreneur mindset that I hope that lots of us are in. So the savers, so that is silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. I'm going to go through some of those. The first key is to create an inspiring routine that actually really resonates with you. You don't have to do the way that other people do it. It's actually all about starting your day completely in accordance with what lights you up, with what you find energizing. And that's really important. Otherwise, you just won't do it. Number one, I do encourage you to get up early if possible. There's something about getting up early that just you start the day right. The second one, do not press the snooze button. Does anyone know what the snooze button does to your subconscious? No? Okay. When I heard this, I was just like, yeah, fucks your subconscious. Yeah, pretty much. So this is actually a book by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule. And if you press the snooze button, even just once, that is the first piece of information going into your head that's basically you sticking the middle finger up to your day and being like, nah, it's not for me right now. So your brain, of course, is just starting the day with that already on a back foot mentality. When I heard that, I was just like, shit, I've been giving some really bad information to my head. I mean, God knows what I was doing over the course of 45 minutes, pressing the snooze button at least 10 times. So don't press the snooze button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. That is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. That is just an amazing tool in itself. Then don't check your phone within the first 30, 60 minutes of the day. I heard a quote once that all of your emails, your messages, or etc., are other people's agendas. And you want to be starting your morning in your own agenda. That's what you're trying to do. Through intention, you're trying to create your own day. So if you open up your email immediately, you're getting pulled into other people's agendas immediately, and you've lost control of your day. So I do encourage you, even just for the first 15 minutes, just to not check your phone, and then hydrate, because you've spent 8 hours, or, maybe hopefully 8, hopefully between 6 and 8 hours not drinking, which for a human is not ideal. So then after you've done that, silence. That's quite nice for some people. If you're not a morning person, that's not a hard thing to do. But just sit there. That's where you can do your meditation. If you're not into meditation, you can just think about it just in terms of I like to think about it in terms of like sieving the information, just like allowing your energy just to like ground slightly into your day. Just a chance to get centered, paying attention to your body, just allowing yourself to wake up. You can also kind of be half asleep for that process, which is always nice. Affirmations. So affirmations, I've always personally had a little bit of a problem with. Like, I am a spirit junkie, yogi. I love all that kind of spiritual shit. However, affirmations I find difficult because they just seem a bit like airy fairy, like woo woo. I don't want to sit there and be like, like I am like abundance or whatever. Like, doesn't mean anything to me. So this tool is essential for mastering mindset. Sorry if anyone else like does that. I didn't mean to be offensive. I'm working to get there. So this tool goes right to the heart of your biggest insecurities. So if you don't know what to say for your affirmations, or they're just not meaning anything to you, the fuck you strategy is amazing. So the way that you do it is take all your shittier stories that you're telling yourself right now. Like, I did mine, and okay, so these 5 were my latest shitty stories relating to my business. I don't have what it takes. It's too late. I've waited too long. I don't have enough experience. No one will be interested in what I do. People won't think it's worth the money. If you're telling yourself shit like that on a daily basis, your business is going to take an enormous hit. And as we've been through for the last half an hour, you're really trying to get into that intentional ownership, inspired state. So take those 5 shitty stories, or, whatever yours are, write them down, just be really real with them. Create new ones by literally reversing them, flipping them. So when I flipped them to create new stories, it's, I am the most capable person I know to carry out my mission. This is happening at the exact perfect time. I have all the tools, resources, and experience I need for this work. People will be more receptive and hungry for this than I can possibly imagine, and the right clients will eagerly pay me for my services. Those 5 affirmations there are really powerful, and they stem exactly from my 5 biggest insecurities. So if you take away one thing from this talk, this exercise is phenomenal. You can record them on your phone and just listen to them first thing in the morning. And then you can just listen to them throughout the day. Every time you feel yourself going out of that creator mode, just put on your fuck you affirmations, and it will just rev your energy right back up. Visualization. So again, that is something that I struggled with when I first started doing a morning routine. I don't know if that's just me being unimaginative, but what you're trying to do through visualization is put yourself into your future self, all the things that you want in your life, relating to your business, relating where you want to be in 5 years, all that stuff. You're actually trying to feel as much as you can into that situation, because you're starting to shift your mindset into being that person. And as we looked at before, the more that you can be in that zone, the more that you're actually moving on the way to receiving it. So as humans, we tend to have a focus on what is not working, all those shitty stories that we tell ourselves, the fear and frustration that we experience, all the stress and the anxiety that we experience when we focus on disempowering thoughts. So constantly start to shift your mindset, looking at victory and outcome, even when you can't see it or feel it. You can ask yourself questions like, what is the outcome that I want with my business? What does my 6-figure, 7-figure business look like? And what does it feel like? That's what you want to get into the practice of doing, actually feeling it and becoming that person. You know, we said that to get to the bigger places in your business, you're going to need to become a bigger character. That's where the bigger character comes in. Even though you're not that person right now, you can start to feel into what that person feels like. What are the clients like? What does it feel to be viral? What does the feedback feel like? All of these things, the more time you spend living, breathing, focusing on how victory looks and feels like, you can begin to embody that version of yourself. Sorry, I've realized that I'm like totally still in front of you. You can begin to embody that version of yourself. So the more hours in your day that you can spend being your future self, the better, basically. And just do it in little chunks. So remember to maybe set a reminder on your phone to spend a couple of minutes just feeling into your future self. When you go out for coffee, when you're riding your bikes, when you're riding your bike, just do an active meditation, what it feels like to be in your future self, so that you're always propelling your inspiration moving forward. With your routine, with the rituals and the habits that you're creating, it actually begins with the night before. So the last thing you think about at night is what your brain assimilates first when you fall asleep. So if you go to bed thinking, oh, I'm going to have a really bad night's sleep, or tomorrow's going to be a really challenging day, or really fucked up today, shouldn't have done that. That's what your brain's going to be assimilating. So you want to be going to bed. I mean, spend 5 or 10 minutes just kind of getting yourself into tomorrow's mindset already. So two tools that you can use to shift into creator mode. I suggest that you get a journal or something. Keep it by your bed and write down write down both of these things. So evidence of my dreams manifesting. So go back through the day and scan for things to support your goals. So all of your highest values, all of the things that you're wanting more of in your business, just look out for where that evidence was throughout the day that you are moving towards those things. The second one is the brag book, which is my personal favorite thing to do. It is amazing. Every single piece of feedback or comment or whatever it is, write it, log it in your brag book, because on days where you have gone into full creature rather than creator mode, and all of those insecurities and shitty stories are coming up really hard, that's when you can go back into your brag book and actually realize how far you've come in the last couple of months. And, as I said, we are always looking for the things that suggest that we can't do it or that it's too big for us. So we often forget about the feedback that we receive on a daily basis, like, even small things like a comment on your Facebook post or something that your latest client said to you. we often forget about all the little things that actually suggest what a great job that we are doing, unless you log them in your brag book. And I encourage you to do that each and every single day right before you go to bed. Okay, that ended. Okay, so summary. So today we've covered identifying your highest values and creating an inspiring schedule around them. So inserting your highest values, the thing that you hold most dear, the things that you want to read 500 books about, that no one could prize from you for love nor money. Put those into your day every single day. Even just small snippets, just if you're into health, going to the gym every day, or learning, if learning's in your top priorities, make sure you're spending 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, listening to an audio book, just fulfilling your highest values on a day-to-day basis. Identifying high priority activities and the application of frustrations, enhance communication, choosing your pains, creating your daily rituals, and the creator mindset, the fuck you affirmations, which I hope that you all take away with you, the morning routine and evening routine with your brag book. So if anyone has any questions, then please do let me know. I would love to speak to you. I'm always kind of creating and writing content and stuff. So if you guys want to check out the website or whatever, then you can, of course, just let me know if you have any questions. So, yes.
In this part where you have to identify your values, what if you have like 1 week of value in one day? How do you choose? You know what I mean?
If what, sorry?
I find myself having a lot of stuff that